Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Emily. Today I'm going to talk about soul retrieval and how soul loss can happen. And there's a reason for that. That's because I'm in the process of making a soul retrieval course that's going to be available online, something that I've been guided to do. So the questions that I often get asked is, what is a soul retrieval? When will a soul retrieval be necessary? So a soul retrieval is when we bring back soul fragments that have been lost, usually during this lifetime, but it could be in previous lifetimes as well. And these soul fragments are essentially the truth of your soul, the truth of who you are as a person, as a unique soul being. And very often, at a young age, when I journey into soul parts, into doing soul retrievals, I get very, very young soul essence parts, and these young parts can be taken by caregivers completely unknowingly, in sort of toddler ages, and they're what I call kind of the inner I am center, the will. That can be taken out, and it can be learning at a very young age that your determination and your unique spark isn't welcome. Okay, and that isn't necessarily the truth of what's happening at the time, but it's how does your soul receive that information. Soul loss can also happen in accidents or during times of grief. Okay, so if and this is something that happened to me, if you were involved in a life-changing accident, where, you may have an accident and your perception of who you are changes because maybe you're not able to physically or emotionally do the same things as you did prior to having the accident. That's what we call a life-changing traumatic event. It can also be relationship ending. It can be grief because a loved one had died. And when a relationship ends or grief is occurring and soul loss is evident, it's when people will be saying things like, I haven't felt the same since, or he's been a shadow of himself since this happened, So like completely losing your spark, losing your sparkle, losing your sense of who you are, okay, to that process. And the reason that there is a specific difference between the accident one and the grief and the relationship ending one is because it's possible that your soul essences have been taken by that other person. And that's when we can do some journeying, either into the spirit realm or into some cord cutting work as well, to bring back the power that was lost during that relationship. Very often when people fall in love or they have these very, very strong connections, soul loss can happen, especially, and that becomes particularly evident when the relationship can come to an end. Okay, so those are the times when we'll be really working around what happened, what was the transaction, what was the soul contract happening between me and this other person, to mean that soul loss was occurring. The next piece of soul loss that I'm going to just touch on now is when this is what I call like the fading away soul. This is not a big event. It's kind of like this part of you is just gradually realizing that it doesn't have, or it's not being honored in your life. So it could be an interest in something, an aspect of you which is kind of like passionate about something, or maybe having to completely hone down an aspect of you and your expression in a situation constantly. And actually and this is where I talk about the precariousness, the notoriety and the problematic nature of playing the game, and that means that only delivering and allowing one aspect of yourself to be received by the outside world. What happens on a soul level is that the aspect that is being denied, that's not coming through, gradually separates from ourselves and it becomes so suppressed that it actually loses contact with the rest of the soul. And very often, you know, when people undergo soul retrieval, in their minds they'll have these big things happening, like, oh, this is big event or that big event. And the perks, the added gifts of soul retrieval is, you know, fully embracing all that you are and realising the importance of, oh, I really love dancing, I really love moving, I really love this type of way of expressing myself. I love to express my love for other people. And so the end result is living in a much more expansive and authentic way with the people around you, with the loved ones around you. And I think for today, the final piece of soul loss I'd like to touch upon is when soul loss happens in a previous lifetime and a previous life. So you may have soul aspects which are very powerful, some kind of wisdom pieces of your soul that you innately know very, very well how to intuitively do something. And that's what we call being very much in our power. And maybe in this past life, it wasn't okay to have that power. You know, if we think about witch wounding, we think about all sorts of ways in which this power, this wisdom, this intuition may have been perceived in the past, and then there's a wounding around connecting to it. That's what's what we call past life soul retrieval, when we journey to past lives with our soul retrieval allies and we bring back those aspects of ourselves. So this soul retrieval journey is going to be available in the next few weeks to download from my website, and I'm going to be posting updates here as well about it. And the reason that I feel that I'm being guided to share this with you now is because we need to be fully expressed right now. That our hearts are fully expressed, that our wisdom is fully expressed as we navigate the next few years, which are all about fully feeling in the heart center. You know, when soul loss happens, it's very often not when we've not connected with the truth of the heart, the truth of the soul within us. And this can lead to us feeling very disconnected, disorientated, and not being very clear about our decision making. So when we go through the soul retrieval process, the key words that we bring back are discernment, truth, wisdom, clarity, all of those things that really, really bring you right back into your centre and help you to feel very, very much empowered. If you have any questions about this, I'd love you to post below this video. And if you are journeying with us, then welcome to the soul retrieval journey. Really, really pleased to welcome you. Lots and lots of love. See you soon.